This is the worst video we've ever recorded, by the way. Like, if I saw this video, I would unsubscribe.
This is the best worst video ever made.
I would not want any person on this video sending me anything. All right, well, God be with you, John, that you can piece this hunk of shit together and make something out of it. Welcome to 5 Idiots Talking Toys. I'm Shane Davison. I'm here with John and Brandon and Chris and Charles for another episode. Thanks you for joining us. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. We hope you do. And please like the video and give us some comments after you watch and let us know what you thought of the video. We do have a special guest joining us shortly tonight, so please stay tuned for that. And we do have a special announcement. You've probably already heard this. It's been all over our channel, but we are doing a huge giveaway. We are giving away a HasLab Razor Crest from The Mandalorian. We are giving it away for free. We are going to ship it to the winner. Unless we see you at the convention at ICCC, we're going to figure those details out. But the big news is we're giving away this awesome prize. So stay tuned. Later in the episode, we're going to tell you how to enter that giveaway for our subscribers. So here we are. Let's kick it off. We're going to have a non-Star Wars episode tonight. We are going to talk about some other toy lines, and we're going to jump in a few minutes with our special guest. John, what's up? How are you tonight? What's going on in the world of collecting in your area?
Well, excuse me. How's it going, everybody? It's kind of slow, a little bit slow right now, but I have been getting some Superpowers figures trickling in. I'm really getting into collecting the Superpowers line. Charles is not a fan of the Superpowers line, but I think they're super cool. I think they're super cool. I think they're awesome. Really brings back memories and childhood memories and stuff like that. And I picked up a couple of the new Spider-Man retro Marvel Legends retro figures this weekend.
Now, what size are those? Those are 3 3/4?
No, those are 6-inch.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah, they're 6 inches. But those are also really nice. A lot of cool accessories.
What's a Marvel Legends retro figure?
A Marvel. Well, I don't have one with me, or I'd show you. It's in the car.
Okay.
But, it's you saw. There's some in your video that you did a couple weeks ago. The Hammerhead figure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, those are the Marvel Legends retro.
Those are Marvel Legends. Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, not a whole lot of Star Wars stuff. There hasn't been really a lot of new Star Wars releases lately. The vintage, as far as I know, the vintage collection and stuff like that. But that's about it.
Okay. All right. I opened a box this morning and got my wife walks in and goes, "Did you order something from France?" And I said, "Yeah, I did." So I have this ridiculous, awful, ugly, just ridiculous Leia and Bosch disguise. It's a Chinese knockoff. It's on the wrong card. It's on a Luke card. She's like 5.5 inches tall. If I had to compare it to, like another figure, she's a ridiculous size. I just loved it because it was something, different. I'm always looking for something different, but it's just this awful Chinese knockoff, and somebody was selling it on one of the groups from France.
Nerd alert!
And here's my coolest piece that came along with it. My Pepsi ruler from Argentina.
How much was the shipping on all that?
Don't even ask me, but I bought it for like, $40. The next thing I know is I was out of hundo. So those are my silly little acquisitions from this morning. Chris, you're contemplating, you're thinking, you might have something new in that you want to show us. What do you got?
No, I actually got a couple of boxes in from CAS today. One of the boxes I handed in at the ICC show last year, so it took about 11 months to get done.
Was that ICCC 2020?
Yeah, 2020, yes.
Or 21?
So they just came back this morning. You'll probably see the unboxing video online now, but this was one of the items. It is a prune face first shot. It is a first shot prototype non-sonic welded Power of the Force 2. So
Nerd alert.
I know you guys probably don't care, but there's not many of these around. And when I saw it, I loved it. And this took about, like I said, about 11 months to get graded. And then,
hey John, when you're doing the cropping and everything for the show, just cut that thing out.
and then
I'll edit it right out. Yeah.
I also got in Power of the Force 2 Kenner sample first shot baggies for the Ugnaught. And it was from the same seller on eBay. And I saw that they, graded them like this. And it was another piece that I wanted. Love my baggies. Love Power of the Force 2 stuff. Probably going to start collecting that more, actually, now, to be honest with you. So.
Well, there'll be one of you out there.
Yes.
All right, very cool. Anytime you can get prototype stuff or first shot stuff, obviously that's very rare, and it's not easy to acquire, and it's nice to have it graded. So that's very cool. Charles is reaching down, grabbing something. He's so ready. He's laughing. Charles, what do you got?
Well, if you didn't care about what he just showed you, you're not going to care about what I'm going to show you. But it might be one other person here that actually cares. Got a 80 grade foot soldier, clear bubble, some punched. I know no one cares, but it's nice though. Got to get those turtles in.
So everybody that watches our channel, John, knows that Charles is on. He's on a runaway train here. It's a turtle train.
Star Wars who and Star Wars what?
Yeah, he has turtle fever. John has been editing videos left and right that Charles is walking, his figures through the neighborhood and shooting videos. John has a never-ending edit problem with turtle videos, but no, it's very cool. And everybody knows from the title of this episode, we are here for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tonight. I think it's safe to say that all of us, maybe not John, maybe John was chasing skirt by this point, but all the rest of us collected turtles. It was one of our last lines, collecting, toys probably. I was in the end of elementary school, but no, we're excited to see the turtles that we remember. Brandon, what's up in San Diego? What have you been up to? Anything to talk about? Any finds? You've been at swap meets the last couple of weeks. What's going on?
I went today. There wasn't a whole lot. The weather's been kind of crappy the last couple days, so we had a cold front run through, but
cold front,
not a whole lot out there.
Degrees.
Well, yeah, I did hit up Walmart, recently, and did a little toy hunt there. There wasn't a whole lot there either. The Batman toy line is now up and running, so those toys are out. Pretty interesting. But I didn't pick up anything new, so to speak.
But you were also in Vegas recently, right?
Yeah. I was not there for the toy convention, but I did go and I did go hunting there at Rogue Toys, just to take a look at something new, But there wasn't anything there that was that special.
Oh, were you gambling there, or?
Yeah.
How much
gambling
did you lose or win?
Even Steven.
His wife watches videos religiously. Come on.
Yeah, she watches these videos religiously. It's always
all of Brandon's answers are always scripted. They're like even. Good.
Brandon, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? Vanilla. Plain.
1 to 10. What's your favorite number? 5.
5. All right, boys. I think it's that time. I see Benjamin has joined us. Benjamin Baldwin is here, everyone. You may know him from the IC. He's also a Star Wars collector. He is a big Ninja Turtles fan and collector, and he has a focus within that line as well he's going to tell us about. But we are very excited to welcome him now. We did meet him in person last year in April at the convention ourselves, and it's great to finally have him on. We've been talking about it for a while. Benjamin, how are you?
Excellent. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate you thinking about me.
Hey, what's up, Benjamin? How you doing?
Excellent. Been road tripping this weekend and glad to be back home and reunited with my collection. I missed it.
Yeah, well, we're glad to have you here. We've been talking about we did a huge run, a long run focusing on Star Wars, and now we want to start focusing on some other areas of the hobby of collecting toys. And you're obvious, very much so the first name that we thought of when we thought of Turtles. We said, we know somebody. Let's get him on. So, so tell us, where did it start for you? I assume that you remember the toys from when you were younger, but where did it start for you? You could talk about that a little bit as well. What memories you have, and then how did that transition into being an adult collector?
Yeah, man. First and foremost for me was the cartoon. And what's funny about that is that's not just true for Turtles. It's true for, I knew about Batman and Spider-Man before 90s cartoons, but what really solidified my fandom and especially inspired me to collect was a lot of those 90s cartoons. The Batman, the 90s X-Men cartoon, those theme songs, the representation of all those characters on screen are still to this day my favorites, including live action performances of all the X-Men and Batman and everything. So, of course, I remember the Turtle cartoon first, and buying the toys. My mom makes fun of me to this day because she quotes me all the time. I said, "I just want the 4 Turtle brothers," and we all know how that went for everybody.
And all the versions of them.
Right. I know
it's interesting, Benjamin. I was just going to say real quick, it's interesting learning the history of some of the different toy lines, because for those who don't know out there, I believe the Turtles started as a comic or a graphic, representation, a graphic, comic that you can purchase and read. And I didn't know about that until the toy line came out. Like most kids, unless you were you were in the comic book stores, you were on top of that. Most kids learned about it with the toy line, but there's a lot of different lines, like Masters of the Universe. They actually made the cartoon so that they could merchandise toys. There was no story before they started coming up with the toy line. They created the toy line and said, hey, we need a cartoon to merchandise this. And there's a lot of different franchises that are like that. So, some the cartoon came first, the toy came first, the comic came first. So it's interesting to learn that.
Did the cartoon come first?
No,
the Turtles.
No, the comic came first, and then it was like I think 2 or 3 years later when this guy decided to try to market it to children through cartoons and toys. But that is kind of a cool differentiating factor for the Turtles, is that it was these guys living their dream and coming up with this funny, funky idea. They weren't thinking about marketing to children. You know what I mean? At the time, it turned into that, yes, but it wasn't created for that sole purpose.
Yeah, the
so I think that's kind of
pretty dark.
Yeah, they were.
Those comics were pretty dark.
But Shane, I think a lot of people share that same story of being introduced to Turtles through the cartoon, for sure.
Yeah, so I'll rephrase my question. Was the cartoon out before the toys?
That is actually a great question. I feel like I should know that, but I don't.
Because I
believe they were kind of in tandem. I think
it was the same year, I think.
I remember watching the cartoon first. I remember watching the cartoon first and then buying the toy right after the cartoon.
Right.
Well, season 1 only has like 5 episodes, I think. Something like that. I just watched it.
Yeah, it's pretty short.
Yeah, it's short.
Yeah, and if any of our viewers can correct any of us, if they know any more, please do so in the comments. But like I said, Masters of the Universe, it was a cartoon to promote the toy line that they wanted to make. And I think Turtles was kind of a similar thing in the sense that there was this comic book, like John said, it was kind of dark. I don't know that it was necessarily for adults, but it wasn't for little kids necessarily. And somebody got the idea, hey, there's this great storyline. This could be for kids. Let's make a cartoon and a toy line for it. Like they'll take the storyline and make a whole franchise out of it. So it was kind of similar, but it came from a comic first.
Yep.
So basically, Splinter died back in the day, and now they're coming out with a new show called the Book of Splinter, and it's going to be 6 episodes or 7 episodes with that's coming along next.
Are we going to learn how Splinter got out of the almighty Sarlacc pit, or is that
no? You're going to learn how to get out of the sewer.
How he got out of the sewer.
Yeah, he escaped the grasp of the alligator in the sewer.
So I just want to throw this out here. My brother and me had a huge turtle collection, and I'm gonna follow the same story. Chris walked it down to the local comic store and sold it for a whole bunch of tacos.
So that's the watered down version from Charles. The true version actually is I just sold my turtle collection about 6 months ago. I had it in my basement when I had moved from my parents' house this whole time. I found it downstairs about 6 months ago, and I sold it on eBay. So I still had it from the 90s.
Did you send me my half of the money? Because there's no way that you knew exactly which ones were yours and had it separated.
Yes, Charles, because if everyone remembers, you sold everything of yours growing up, and I kept my stuff, so that's why.
Okay.
Charles can
Charles
taste
was
those
the turtle
fajitas
head.
now. He can smell them.
That's
Charles
why
is the main
Charles
turtle head. He can smell them.
Yeah, that's why Charles got back into the turtles. So, Ben, was this the first line of figures that you collected, or was this something that just kind of just evolved? What was the first line that you remember collecting as a kid?
What I can say is that Turtles was the first line that I collected fanatically. I always loved dinosaurs growing up, so I had some of the smaller Dino Riders. Always loved Dino Riders. Had a few of the smaller Dino Riders. Even I remember, and it's funny, I've started collecting some of this stuff as kind of a side focus as an adult too. But definitely dinosaurs. Play schools, definitely dinosaurs, even before Dino Riders. So I remember having those two toy lines, but I didn't collect them fanatically like Turtles. You know what I mean? Turtles was like a lifestyle in the 90s, It is kind of for me now still, but, I mean, Turtles was like, life in the 90s.
It was huge. It was really huge. I mean, some toy lines can cross over into all the different areas of merchandising, and Turtles, I mean, you could get anything with the Turtles on it.
Yeah,
it was enormous. There were whole aisles of stuff.
So these other 4 have no clue about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I have a teeny clue, but where are you with the collecting? Because there is just so much.
There is a lot, man. In fact, I've already started scaling down. I was at a room before I bought my first turtle, and now I have a room and a half full of turtles. So I started scaling down. Also, my party band Sonic Spectrum that I did for 11 years funded my collecting. So I kind of kept my day job money separate from the toy money. I think it's wise to try to keep it separate if you can, as much as you can. So it helped me when the band ended. My cream money kind of ended, so it was a good time for me to start scaling down to fund other purchases and also to get stuff out of my house.
Yeah. Well,
Charles has a closet that's overflowing right now.
No, I'm only doing the 10 backs. I'm not going to move, most likely, anywhere near, some of the 90s stuff. It just gets so involved.
Do any of the other three of you guys believe that for 1 second?
Mark
He sends us pictures
Mark
of
tape.
pirate
Mark
turtles
tape right now, so we can get back to this spot of when Charles says he's only doing 10 backs.
He sends us links to like soccer turtles and pirate turtles and construction worker turtles.
Sounds like to me, Charles just wants the 4 Turtle Brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all their outfits.
I only have I have nothing else other than 10 backs.
Yeah, but you only started last week and you already have 2 full sets.
Well, I would have had 3, but my brother sold the other set.
So talking about turtles, though, does turtles have like vehicles? Like, are there vehicles and play sets?
A ton.
Yeah, tons.
Yeah.
So now, do you collect those too?
I do, and to kind of circle back to the question of where I'm at with my collection, I have a hardcore rock and roll Ninja Turtle focus. So there was the band that was released. It's the 4 Turtle Brothers, Rappin' Mike, Classic Rocker Leo, Heavy Metal Raph, and Punker Don. And that's the band. In fact, speaking of vehicles, one of the coolest vehicles is the Rock and Roll Mutabus. It's like a school bus. It's a fold-out stage for the rock and roll band, for the Turtles. But I'm a lifelong musician, so me being kind of a rocker and a musician and everything, meeting collecting, in the middle there with turtles is perfect for me. And it's just something I ended up getting really into, even though I never even saw the tour as a kid. My wife actually saw the tour and she can sing the songs. Very hot.
I was also I was also in the audience for one of the tour dates for the
nice.
Turtles. Now I remember.
That's awesome.
Charles is so jealous of Brandon right now.
Look at that face. He's so jealous.
I think I still have the program for it somewhere.
Long hair.
So you have the program, Brandon?
Yeah, I still have it somewhere. I think at my parents' house, buried in some stuff somewhere. I'll have to find it. Well, next time I go home, I'll look for it and then I'll post it on the group page if I find it.
That's cool.
Or I'll sell it to Charles.
Nope, I don't want it. Only 10. That's it.
So instead of answering the question, telling you where I'm at with my collection, is this a good time to just show you part of the collection, or how do we want to do that?
Yeah, let's look at the turtle collection. Part of the turtle collection for sure. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, because we want to see the collection, but I know that we're gonna probably break this up into 2 halves, John. We've been doing lately. Do we want to hit some more questions about the actual line? Maybe we can kind of step away from Benjamin's personal experience or where he's at with his collection, which we're very interested in. But what kind of questions do we have about the line? Let's pretend we're talking to viewers like us who don't remember or don't know all of what the line entails. But where kind of step us through like the early years if you can. I don't want to put you on the spot, but there's the 10 backs. There's the first 10 figures. I think most people are probably familiar with them. But what were the first couple of years like? The first couple of series of releases like?
Yeah, as far as like the mock stuff goes, I'm a loose collector. I love toy photography and finding different reasons to play with my toys. So I'm mostly a loose collector. Unless you get into my focuses, then of course I have some MOC examples with that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's really cool because the line evolved pretty rapidly. So like the first 3 to 4 years, you're already getting some wacky versions of the Turtles, like the Undercover Wave. And still to this day, I mean, a lot of my collector buddies, Surfer Mike is like their favorite figure of all time, or Space Cadet Raph, or Undercover Don. I mean, those figures got a lot of time with me when I was a kid, for sure. But the line ended up getting like really crazy wacky, but you already see that transformation kind of start to happen within the first like 3 years of the line after the basic waves. And then you start getting characters that are not in the cartoon too. So you get like new characters in the toy line that can, on new adventures and everything that you didn't even see in the cartoon. So
How long did they make figures for? Like, when did they stop?
I believe it went from 88 to 97.
Oh, wow.
That's a long
Yeah, it was
run
long.
for a toy line.
Yeah, it was a long run for a toy line. Then they started getting crazy and doing stuff that kind of like borrowed ideas from other toy lines, but incorporated them into Turtles, especially later on with like the minis and stuff. I think that was a heavy like Mighty Max influence. Maybe even Polly Pocket.
The last Turtles that I had that I remember were samurai ones that had like swords. They were like samurais. And then they were in like space outfits. They were like astronauts or something.
You're probably talking about the Cyber Samurais. They look like they're kind of in like spacey robot suits. They're kind of bulky. You're probably talking about the Cyber Samurai wave.
Okay, yeah, I had those.
When Charles, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say they weren't Charles's; they were actually mine.
So with each wave, did they have a theme or something? Is that what they went for when they, I guess when the Turtles cartoon started dying out and the popularity for the cartoon and the movies and stuff started dying out, is that when they started doing these different waves of different type themes or something? Or
no, they always had like just some wacky stuff going on, always. Which is one of the charming parts about the line is how just wacky and weird it was, but to answer your question about the themes, some waves had a theme, like the disguised turtles, even though they all weren't in the same disguise though, so they were all different figures, like the surfer and the astronaut and undercover, whatever. But yeah, it's weird. A lot of the waves had a theme, and then they would just have a basic assortment. And that's like 1992, 93, about 4 or 5 years into the line. That's when you started getting characters like Half Court, the basketball playing giraffe, Dr. L, Monty Moose, all these kind of like one-off figure characters that weren't part of anything. But there's a lot of really, really cool one-off characters, good guys and bad guys, in that basic assortment. And there's definitely not a theme for a lot of those.
Charles has 2 giraffe basketball players at CAS right now.
Half court? No.
Half court.
Only at 10 backs, but I have all the cartoons on CD, and there's 400 episodes, something like that.
Wow.
Well,
when Charles started bringing this up recently, that he was getting back in, getting interested to get back into it. My first comment was I was huge on Turtles, and it was the last toy line that I collected, from Transformers to Masters of the Universe to G.I. Joe, Star Wars, of course, Voltron, Thundercats, and those are the ones I remember most specifically. Of course, GoBots and other things peppered in, but Turtles was the last thing that I actually collected as all of the different figures that came out, and that was also the only line I ever collected that I bought with my own money. I remember being old enough where I would go to the store, seek out getting to the stores and buying the figures myself. So it was special to me for that reason. But what I'm getting at is I started collecting them right when they came out, immediately upon the cartoon and them being released. And now that we talk about this and we talk about 9 years, I realize how little I actually collected them, because I went into middle school in 1990 and I was done by then. I remember like 5th and 6th grade, I was huge on it. So that was really like 2 years. So there was so much more after that. We talk about all these wacky characters. I just don't even really remember those. I remember some of them. The samurai ones I remember. The undercovers I remember a little bit.
I remember seeing those and not even being interested in them.
Those are all like later on, though.
Well, honestly, man, there's so many turtle figures. I mean, so many. So part of the joy collecting as an adult, it's been different facets of joy in collecting. One is like, oh, I bought this figure back that I had as a kid. Of course, that's probably the most common. Then it's, oh, I bought this figure that I never had. I always wanted Ray Fillet, and my buddy had Ray Fillet, and I never had him. So you get Ray Fillet. And then the third is getting all these figures you've never even seen before. Like, what? holy crap, there's so many figures. Like Safari Mike is one of the coolest. He's in this Australian hat, and he looks like he's just like an adventure Michelangelo. Took him to the Grand Canyon with me recently because that's how I roll. But never even knew this figure existed, and he's like one of my favorite Michelangelos in the
was he in an episode?
No.
So they just made figures that weren't even in episodes, probably, right?
Oh yeah, like most of them, like almost all of them, out of millions.
I just collected the main characters, like I guess the first 10 or whatever, and then after that, I got a couple other ones. Like I don't know if Casey Jones was first 10 or not, but I remember him and a couple 14. Of the other ones. Like, is he?
First 14, I think he was in.
First 14.
Yeah.
I remember him and like a couple of the other weird looking turtle. I guess they were like the villains or whatever. I remember collecting those guys, and then I think like Shane. I think like Shane, I just kind of stopped collecting them and it fell off. But I remember seeing all these different types at Toys R Us constantly. All these weird looking turtles, and I was like, what is this stuff? They just keep, pumping it out. But at that time I was, into video games and like John trying to chase skirt around. But
well, let's get something straight here. I was in the band, so
Oh, they chased you is what you're. Oh, I see what you're saying, John. All right, okay. I got what you're dishing out.
John was getting married when the Turtles, came out. So.
You the lead singer, John?
No, I was in the marching band.
Oh,
Me too, buddy. Me too.
That deserves a nerd alert.
nerd alert.
Okay, I gotta interrupt this real quick. Ben, what was your instrument in the marching band?
Oh, God.
Quads or tenor drums, and I was also the drumline captain.
Yeah.
No, he was the cool part of the marching band. What did you play, John?
I played trombone and tuba.
Oh, so John was a blower. You're either a beater or a blower.
Yeah, heavy metal. There
we go. Okay, folks, that'll do it for this episode. That was part 1 with Benjamin Baldwin and his Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles collection. Thank you so much for joining us. We already learned a lot, but we're in the middle of this conversation. So please join us next week for part 2, where we pick up the conversation midstream, and we'll learn more about the line, more about the origins of the line, how the line progressed, this whole vintage Ninja Turtle line, which lasted about 9 years or so. And of course, then after that, join us again. We're going to do a collector's corner portion with Benjamin and see his whole collection. From what I hear, it's pretty massive. So tune in for that as well. Also, subscribe to the channel. You'll be alerted of new videos as they come out if you hit that bell icon. And you can check in the description below to learn how to enter the giveaway for the HasLab Razor Crest vehicle. We're going to give that away to one of our subscribers. So learn down below how you can enter that contest. And we will see you next time. Thanks very much for joining us.